again. I feel like I need to say welcome back to myself since it's been well over a month since my last video. My surgery was October the 3rd, and as you can tell, I did not do a video from my hospital bed. That just would not have been possible. And to those who are able to do that and have been able to do that, bless your heart, because it was, that whole few days was just a groggy blur to me. There's no way I would have been coherent enough to do a good video. Maybe a funny video, but not an informational one. But my surgery was October 3rd. I went back around 2 and was done around 7. Well, they were done, not I was done. I didn't do anything. They were done by around 7. And then I think I was in a room by around 9 o'clock that night. I remember waking up in recovery and my mother feeding me ice. And then, like I said, them moving me to a room, again, around 9 p.m. on October the 3rd. On the next day, October 4th, around 8:30 a.m., my plastic surgeon came in to check on me, and he's like, "So, are you ready to go home?" And I'm like, "Are you serious? It hasn't even been 12 hours since I've been in this room. For Pete's sake, why are they in such a hurry to rush you out of the dang hospital these days?" But anyway, so I said, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Okay, well, we'll keep you another night." I'm thinking, gee, thanks, you know. I know it's costing you a lot of money for me to be here another night, but I really appreciate that. We've learned, we as in my husband and I and my mother especially, have learned excuse me, that my plastic surgeon does not have a very good bedside manner, which unfortunately most plastic surgeons don't get into the practice of plastic surgery for that warm fuzzy feeling, you know. So it was obvious, or it is obvious, with my plastic surgeon. I mean, he has his moments, but for the most part, you have to drag information out of him, and he just doesn't seem too compassionate. But anyway, so I was there Friday. Saturday morning, I woke up sweating. Like, every part of my body was wet. Everywhere. I was soaked. And so I was running a fever. So, believe it or not, they didn't try to kick me out on Saturday. They kept me another night. So I ended up being in the hospital for 3 nights. Went home that Sunday. Again, it was all a groggy blur. Those first few days at home, I was out because around Thursday or Friday, you know, I was kind of up and around for the first time and thinking it was Monday or Tuesday. And my husband's like, "Nope, it's Thursday or Friday," or whatever day it was. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I've missed a whole stinking week." Anyway, so when I was able to move around and stuff, I was surprised at how much pain I wasn't in. And not because of the painkillers, but just because through the use of my arms, I was able to use them a lot more than I thought I would, because I had read over and over that basically the feeling is like your elbows are pinned to your side, and that's all the range of motion you're going to have. But I was able to move my arms, you know, reach up on the counter and get my toothbrush, that kind of stuff. Of course, I wasn't able to lift them up over my head or reach for anything up high or pull anything or push anything or hold anything heavy. But it just wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. I did have an episode with my painkiller. I had Percocet, and in the hospital they had given it to me, and I had no troubles whatsoever. And first part of the week when I was home, I had no trouble. But one day I had what I call an episode. It was like a living nightmare kind of thing. It was weird. It felt like I was dreaming, but I wasn't. It really felt like a tug of war between good and evil, and it wasn't like a visual thing, like two beings pulling. It just had that feeling of good versus evil. And then I had a vision of like 10 or so faceless people like pushing down on my chest. And so at that point I woke up or whatever and went into the living room and said, "Okay, I can't go back to the bedroom by myself. I just had an episode." And I explained it to him. He's like, "That's really crazy." And so since then I haven't taken any more Percocet. Have relied on Lortab or Tylenol or whatever. A few weeks ago, I'm not still on pain medicine, but then And I'm going to have to make this video short, and I'll do another video kind of breaking down, you know, the past few weeks leading up to this point. But anyway, so I had my first follow-up with my plastic surgeon that Friday after the surgery, after I was out of the hospital. And in the hospital, you know, he had looked at my chest, but I hadn't really at all, because I still had bandages on me when I went in for my follow-up. And even he lifted the bandages and looked, and he's like, yeah, this is what I was afraid of, which I vaguely remember him mentioning this in the hospital too, but basically he was afraid of the skin dying, because he did go ahead and fill them. I would say I was probably about the size of an A cup, maybe a very small B cup, but the skin, all of the skin was dying or dead. So he just, you know, matter-of-factly, well, you need a revision surgery. We'll schedule that for next Thursday, and we'll cut away all this dead skin. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, great, another surgery in, you know, 2 weeks' time. But that Saturday, after he told me I was able to shower and take the bandages off and everything, that Saturday is the first time that I was undressed and saw myself in the mirror. And I bawled and bawled, and my husband my sweet husband went so far out of his way to just comfort me and tell me it was going to be okay, you know, it's going to get better. And of course I know that, but right then and there, seeing that, you know, it's like nothing anybody says is going to comfort you. It's like it's horrible. And it had me for the first time thinking, what have I done? Why did I do this? What was I thinking? Because it just looked awful. And I know there are some women who are brave enough to do videos and show, you know, what they look like after surgery and things like that. I'm not one of those people. I'm very self-conscious, unfortunately, but just take my word for it, it looked awful. And remember too, I have the nipples on my stomach, so I got to see that for the first time, and it just, the overall picture was freaky and scary and awful and deformed and awful. I mean, that's horrible. You know, my husband bathed me, and I'm crying the whole time he's bathing me, and he's trying to tell me, baby, you know, it's gonna get better, it's okay, it's gonna get better. And not once in all of this, not for a millisecond, have I felt like he looked at me and went, oh my God. I mean, he's been so supportive, and at least he's very good at acting like it hasn't fazed him. What I look like, what I've gone through, what I've put him through, what he's had to endure as part of this, he's done a very good job of making it seem like, you know, it's been no big deal to him whatsoever. And I love him so much for that. And really from him, I wouldn't expect anything different. But I mean, still in the back of your mind, you see yourself like this and you have these doubts, you know, and just like, oh my God, how could anybody look at this and say, I still love, you know, it's weird. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and stop this video for now, and I'll pick up with my revision surgery the next Thursday. That's a whole other story within itself, and then like I said, I'll lead you through the rest of October for me and the very beginning of November. But for now, I'll let you go. I hope you're still watching the videos. I hope you're still finding those informational, because like I said, those are what helped me a lot in preparation, and even hearing about people's after, for sure, you know, that helps you in preparation to know what to expect. So again, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.